Okay, so this morning I'm going to show you a little demonstration where I'm going to put down some masking medium and also how to, tape the a paper to a substrate, a board when you're working, which will give you an idea, also about stretching watercolor paper. So not necessarily using your journal, but using a small piece of paper in order to create a watercolor painting. So first, I start by kind of actually taping down. The paper to my board. And what I have here is just some tape that I picked up at the art supply store. Sometimes they have, I don't have, the brand name is not on this anymore, but it's fairly sticky. Some people use paper tape. I tend to use the white tape. I like it. So you can always go to your watercolor store or your watercolor store, your art store, and find this type of tape. Ask them; they're pretty good at giving you some ideas. And this is also a great way to create a bit of a margin on your work as well, a nice little white space around it. So I don't have. Oh, jeepers! It's alive. I don't have any rhyme or reason to this tape, like the order sides or anything else. This tape is a little bit old and it broke, as you could see, before I was ready to tape it down. Goodness. Okay, there's the edge. All right, I'm just going to work a little bit slower on this. So, taping down watercolor paper is important because all of you will know from having maybe worked a little bit with lots of water that you end up getting the paper will stretch and ripple. Um, so this kind of helps avoid that situation. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I just got it taped down. Now, most watercolor paper tends to have a bit of a starchy um, layer to it that is applied to the paper when it's made. So one of the things that you can do is just actually soak the paper first. If I'm going to do any kind of a finished watercolor piece, that's what I would start with doing, and I'm going to go with my sponge because it's a great way of applying the um, the water. So I'm gonna dip it into my clean water. And I actually like the natural sponges versus any kind of synthetic sponge, but a synthetic sponge will also do. You can buy these at the art supply store. And what I do is I tend to cut them up in pieces so that I'm using smaller ones, and then I've got one in my kit or one in my studio. And so basically, right now, what I'm doing is just giving that a bit of a scrub every which way across, and that will remove that layer of starch on your watercolor paper. It also gives it a bit of saturation. I'm not going to be now. You can let this dry naturally if you choose to, but what I'm going to do is show you one of my favorite tricks, and that's using my hair dryer to dry it. So you can see how wet it is right now. Let me grab my hair dryer and dry that paper. So what I try to do when I'm working with this hair dryer is work. This is my big giant hair dryer I've had for years. I work with it not on the highest setting, but about a medium setting. And I'm just going to let it dry. dry it up. And you kind of move it back and forth so it dries relatively quickly and evenly. I'm just going to show you so you can see it's still moist, it's still wet. It's kind of bubbled up a little bit. By the time I'm finished drying this down, it's going to have just totally stretched across the entire paper. So I'll just keep going here. There we go. And now you can see it has really flattened right back down again. And I just, as you can see, I was just going around making sure that my edges were sticking. This substrate that I'm working with isn't the best, this animation stage, but when I work with larger sheets, I'm usually working with quite like a board, just a piece of plywood actually that I use to do half sheet pieces. Um, when I used to do large full sheets, I would work on the wood table that I'm working on right now, which is a very old drafting table. So that's basically all there is to stretching and washing off all of that starch so that you have a nice, clean, fresh piece of paper to start with. So I'm going to conclude this video, and then I'm going to take you to the next step to use the masking medium.